I guess we can start doing rundowns of characters. So usually I go left to right in the order that they are in the Roll20 window because that's the easiest for me. Which means we're going to go with Teth first. Or actually, you're Theta here. You're not Teth here, so you're Theta now.
Okay. Alright, I am playing Jikai Kato. He is a PvPer when he's online and playing games. My avatar's name is Susanoo, the Decider. I am a day laborer. I work in the same company as one of the other players. And my
Yeah,
motto is, oh, what a hero you have found in me. More likely to shout it, though, when I use it.
And do you have any current goals on your list?
I've apparently never had a goal.
Okay. Griffin, what is your character?
My character is Hiraku Oshira. He is a pessimistic infotech worker who plays an archer in a video game. His motto is, "What am I doing here?" And apparently he actually did complete a goal, so he has a social gift to get.
Oh, right, the influence chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that needs to be broken down. So I guess you can write down you have influence.
Okie doke, gonna write down influence. Cool.
Yes, we're on the internet, chat. Oh wait, next on our list here is that's Arcloid.
Hello, I am Arcloid. I am playing Hashimoto Kenichiro. He plays Vital Hearts as Katsu the Influent. And, oh, I forgot to mention he's a hacker. And his avatar, Katsu, is an...
Is a what?
Influent. And I almost forgot the motto, which is, doing it their way isn't as much fun.
Okay. And we also have we also have Avery is here on the end.
Yes, I am. I am playing Cesar Babak, who is a career criminal. He is playing Rahul 121, a Chtonian repulse, and his motto is observe and act. And I don't have any current goals. I think I had one, but I don't remember what it was. And
that was the one that gave you guys cheating power, because you guys like
right.
messed with the helmet and gave you cheating power.
Then I am good, but just without any goals.
Right. So if this were an anime, the first three characters would be shocked and surprised at how easy it is to cheat in Vital Hearts, and Rahul would just kind of like go, "What? You guys have been on MMO before?"
Yes.
Literally not. I only started playing games because Oshiro got me into this one.
Oh my god, the latest one I heard about was taking armor off and on again so you can wiggle through walls and fall out.
Oh, I was watching a lot of games done quickly or whatever you call it.
Yeah, games done quick. I should have watched more of that so we can have, like, you know, wall running and backwards jumping and all the crazy stuff. The only hack I ever get to work is falling through the floor, which isn't that useful.
Yeah, when you first log into a game that's still in beta. Well, I fell through the ship and now I'm looking at space. Good game.
Yep. Just walk in the next room, it does load, fall from the floor. Whee! That's got to be a lot of fun in VR.
Well, I mean, they made games where you just free fall anyway because the experience was so new to people. So
right. No, I'm guessing that it's a lot of fun if you're not supposed to be falling through the floor. Oh, I gotta make a note about that. Fall through floor. Okay, so we last left our heroes. Yeah, I forgot Arcloid wasn't here. but our heroes had gotten attacked by the rumored bad actors. And you guys can hear him, right?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
What is his problem? It's like I'm on the. Sorry, I apologize, everybody. I'm on the internet now, so he's awake. But you had gotten attacked by the bad actors, and apparently had crashed the game, or at least put it. But you later found out it was a forced crash from the developers to kick everybody off. So you guys had nothing better to do, so you decided to go on an adventure. Where how did you guys get the hacked parts for the suit or the helmet? I'm trying to remember here.
I believe we
I
just
had
crafted
one
them
lying
ourselves.
Yeah, Rapool had a extra helmet, and he just, messed with
Okay.
that.
And you guys just fiddled with it, making one of you the guinea pig. Okay, sorry, I apologize. I've run this game several times, so I ran into several groups that do several things. So I gotta remember which ones that you guys did. All right, so right, and when we last left on the cliffhanger, it was that Susano had gotten into a
Well, it wasn't much of a cliffhanger. I encountered that girl, I was gonna say something, and then they pulled me out.
Yep. You got pulled back out. Because actually, yeah, so I think more appropriately what happens is that there's another, what happens actually is your screen will glitch out, and apparently the VR helmet crashed, which instead of killing you, which was a feature they discussed and rejected, it just punts you back into reality. Now, the suits aren't just VR helmets, they are actually augmented reality helmets. So the VR can actually, you can change it to be a heads-up display in real life as well. So when it crashes, it's really, you're still wearing the suit and you're still wearing the helmet, and it's just that instead of your visuals being somewhere else, it's now in his lap with a bunch of gobbledygook spilling out on your screen.
At the cost benefit of also looking like the Tron guy in real life.
Yes, little bit. The NIE are just headsets; they're not full body suits, though.
Right, but it is a full-on headset. People can wonder why you're walking around with a helmet.
Right. Yes, it is a little obvious. You had hooked it up to different monitors so you could have like text outputs and the debug file dumping out. And with the assembled assets of the Nerd Patrol that you have here, the first thing that you'll immediately notice is that the output, the debug file output, is pretty much the same as the one that you got when you got kicked out of the MMO. It's not just a crash. It has all the hallmarks of a developer doing a forced crash quit.
All right, that's one mystery solved.
Well, I guess here we kind of count as that.
I mean, was that a mystery? I thought you already knew that they force crashed us out.
I just don't remember.
No, I'm pretty sure you guys already knew that. So I guess this is just reconfirming.
Right.
Although why they would force crash the server when nobody was on it.
Oh, they could always be
No.
doing a restart.
I meant that we know that the effects of the crash are identical to a forced disconnect. So, whenever we see them again, we will know what's going on.
There is some truth to that, because you can look at the error, like the I know we're a little. Excuse me for a moment here. Sorry, I lost my voice there for a bit. That we're doing a little cinematic here, but yeah, it's like when you look in the reasons for error and the guru meditation numbers. If I can hand wave over this, yeah. I suppose if you could look for someone is sending a code to the server that it tries to process and then crashes. It's like I guess I would say that like server got request to insert following asset not found, crashing. So I mean that's why I say it has the hallmarks of an admin doing it, because it says like the text log makes it look like someone said put this in the game that doesn't exist and then it crashes it. So it looks like someone is forcing something to happen that consistently crashes the machine. So yeah, you could, I guess, in theory, if now that you know what that message and that command looks like, I guess if you had packet sniffers, you could find out who's sending it. Was that what you were getting at?
It sounds like a reasonable thing to at least try to do. Like, if it wasn't us, doing the importing, which, I mean, we were.
I mean, I guess...
Do it. Confirm that it's us, or confirm that it's not us.
Well, it's not you.
Good.
But
already confirmed.
Now that you guys have cheating skill, you can try to crash the server. Here, let me make a note here that crash the server should be something on the cheat list.
Well, I mean, could you IP track the source of the packets?
Well, sure, see, I've got all the data here.
Yeah, so when you were testing this, though, did you actually connect to the game servers? I thought they were down.
We did do that, and we were even avoiding admins, I believe.
Oh, that's right, so you can mess with the database. Right, that's how you started going through, hey, the entire inventory, I'm in the developer room.
That's how we sent him the bow and me the sword. Because we were on the actual server. Because we started off outside the server just testing the thing, but then we connected. In admin mode.
That's why I forced disconnected you, because we were connected to a live server while nobody was supposed to be there. So
okay, right. Well, yeah, you could try to find out where their servers are, I guess, if that matters to you.
Well, yeah, because they're hidden, and knowing where they're actually located would be a huge boon, I feel.
Well, the factory was hidden. The servers I'm not as certain of.
Well, there's a real question of where the servers would be, I guess, because okay. I'm glad we have some nerds here because so I'm more familiar with IP4 because that's what most people still use, and I know that you can track location by IP4 because they've geographically divided up zones. Does IP6 have ways to track where it's coming from?
Yes, the same methods work in IPv6. The IP is just much longer.
Okay, right, because it's a text string rather than just 4 8-bit digits. Okay, and I would have to assume that the future is running IP6 or something more. Shout out to Serial Experiments Lain. So, right, and assuming they're still using TCP/IP in the future, but I think, okay, so how would you scrub your IP locations? Because I know that people use virtual private networks. I assume those still work under IP6, where if you have middlemen.
When we connected to the game, I specially connected it through some shady VPN that would go around the whole Japan several times to prevent us being found out.
At the cost of latency.
Right.
Yes.
I think the question, though, is how we would find something.
Well, no, I'm clarifying at the cost of latency, because that's how we were doing it. I don't think their game servers would cost latency. They couldn't afford that. Right. So it's not a trick they would use.
Right, and also you have to specifically fake a location in Japan because the game is location locked to Japan. But that's okay. There's plenty of Japan locations. Right. So you could find. So the short answer is that like even just a cursor, because you guys have, once again, for those of you who are following at home, there's something in the game called a rote, where instead of rolling, we just say, look, every 2 dice you have is 1 success, and then we add your procs to it, which are another success. And you guys have at least 2 success programmers, because you got guys with mind, academics, and the hashtag programming. So you guys can find out anything that a 2 success person could find out without even rolling. And then there's other things that you've already done in the game that give you assist bonuses. So some of you have 4 dice, which means you can find anything that a 3 dice person would. That's the game reason. In logic reasons, it's also like, look, you guys are nerd programmers. You are nerd patrol. So it looks like the servers are being reported that they're in Japan, but that's just what you get from the first hop. You would actually have to do some digging to find out exactly where. It's reporting they're coming from somewhere in the Kansai Science District, but the some common sense tells you either there's a secret server farm somewhere in the Kansai district, or they're just reporting their IP is there, and they're actually tunneling through somewhere else.
Right, and if it just like connect to our corporate network in this district, then they could just go to any other of their buildings, maybe.
Which would be unusual because, I mean, I know, like, in the anime, it's just, in the anime, these things might as well be fairy dust. But in the real world, most of these would be server farms are being run out of, like, China or something like that because cheap power and cheap servers. But in fact, I think that's part of the reason why Rahul is here to figure this out, because if there really is a secret server farm in the Kansai Science District, that's a little weird, and and expensive. But if they're tunneling from somewhere else, then how come the game still runs such great virtual reality? It should have like latency if you're doing that sort of thing. I mean, actually, it's VR. It should have some kind of latency period, but it runs amazingly well.
It was at this point we realized it connected us to a psychic field, not the internet.
Yep.
Or, the brain of a dead orphan.
Well, that's just ridiculous.
Well, that's what the American company wants to know. Rahul is an agent for the Americans.
That's what the Americans want to know, because we've got lots of workmen. I'm sorry if we interrupted, Avery. Did you have a question or a statement?
I was just saying that I'm less interested in the software. I'm far more interested in hardware.
Yeah, because it's not necessarily known where the chips could be manufactured in Japan. From what you've seen from taking the thing apart, it wouldn't be that unreasonable of a chip manufacturing facility here. It's a trade secret, but I suppose with some digging you could find out where.
Right, I think we got the Stonewall last time we were trying to look because of the secret factories.
Right.
Like, we couldn't literally make a phone call.
Well, we could, we just couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah,
that's why we went with hack the helmet plan instead.
Yeah. Yeah, and hacking the helmet, you've basically pinned it down to there's the TML miracle chip. I want to call it. It's like you basically down to this particular hardware right here. This chip right here is where all the magic happens.
Right.
Yes. I wonder how long the game will be down since our since our little adventure into the admin mode might have some influence.
What time of day is it right now?
I think you guys did this at evening because you did this after work. So I'm guessing it's like after midnight.
Right, and the game is usually off at nighttime anyway, so.
Or
is it only on at nighttime? It's off during the day. I can't remember.
I assume that they have like an evening schedule, like it's active until like I guess it would have to be active from like 6 to 10, and then maybe it's got some extended on the weekends. Once again, I know this doesn't show up a lot in isekai anime, but it's also like in the Vital Hearts world, there are people who are suspicious of VR. Because they're worried about the great 2020s when there were, or 2010s when there were gacha boxes and preying on the youth. Not to mention it makes all of you indolent and fat, which is a drain on the state.
It could also just be like scheduled programming, like back when what was it, Super Nintendo, or was it Nintendo? The Famicom, I guess, was able to be online, and they would have like events for your video gaming stuff.
Yeah, but that was a limitation of the hardware because they were using a cable, like Sega Channel. Well, Sega Channel's different. But
yeah, but same idea though.
Right, and that might also be related to it, because I can understand that if you were running a VR game and you're only letting people play in certain areas, that it might be to your benefit to push the data. This is the isekai stuff you guys came for, right?
I mean, it's not out of genre.
That deep dives into the tech. Well, I don't see a lot of deep dives into the tech on a lot of these, but it's what interests me.
SAO is all about deep dives into the tech.
I'll nod and say yes.
Seasons 3 onwards.
They did get more interested in the tech and away from the fairy dust. Yes.
Yes, fairy dust was only season 2.
So
that is a deep dive isekai joke.
And
that statement itself was also a deep dive isekai joke.
Oh, can you hold on for a moment? I'll be right back.
So in lieu of having dead air, what do you guys think the next step should be?
One thing I suppose we should do is to try and maybe look for the factory.
I mean, we did that once, but you think you have a new lead on that?
No, but given that we essentially spent whole 15 minutes on it, I suppose we could do better.
Right, but 15 minutes was literally us throwing our heads together to come up with an idea of what to do. And that's all I recall is I tried to call them, and that got me nowhere. What do you have?
I might have some contacts that might have some ideas, streetwise, clandestine, and so on. And on top of that, I have several other ideas, like trying to trace chemical deliveries and so on.
Hello, I am back. So I hear that you guys have been up to crime.
Yes, apparently we're now the Yakuza group. Like your other group.
Well, I think it's well, I can't speak for other people. I find capers and other sorts of things more interesting.
I grew up on Scooby-Doo.
So, I mean, I did this
miss a good bit of that because of my own dropping in and out. So
we're all Serial Experiments Lain fans here, right? I mean, I know we're going way back to that.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I do love the ending. It was a great ending for an anime.
One of my personal favorites. Okay, so I would guess that so it's late at night and the game isn't back online publicly yet. In fact, the forums are filled with people complaining about why isn't this back online. So, I mean, you guys have a couple hours to kill. You could rest if you have any gifts that require a rest or a day.
Don't.
Not a lot of those at the moment, but you did say it was around midnight.
Yeah.
So that might be a good time to just go ahead and break and get that sleep anyway. We can always investigate tomorrow.
You guys have day jobs.
Yeah, you guys have day jobs.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm usually out drinking anyway, so rather
Unfortunately, my
unsuccessfully.
day job is research this stuff, so it all works out in the end.
But I mean, you do have a point, though. I should probably, because
Yeah,
my
well,
job is actually physical, whereas this guy's isn't.
Avery Avery works in the gig economy. That's what he tells people.
When did the power?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do need to rest for my cleric power.
Well, I just mean that I work with my hands, so I guess I'll take a. I don't want to say taxi, but I'll take a train home.
Which you can do. It's Japan.
Yeah, I would say train is probably the more genre savvy.
I have the map right here.
And I do recall that our job and both where I live are both near train stations. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, wacky how that works. There are rumors that in decades past there was a mad billionaire who built tunnels underneath the city that are populated by ghost cars.
Oh, not where I thought you were going. I was thinking Monopoly guy. Stations, yeah, they are stations.
The short line.
Welcome to the B&O Railroad.
Yep. You have won second prize in the beauty contest.
Why have I been assessed for street repairs?
Okay, so I get after a weird day of tooling around the weird internet. Jakai decides to go home. Griffin, you're Haraku. You're the software programmer, right?
That's right.
All right. So your brain is swimming with state details. You also decide to go home. Arkloyd, what was your character up to again? I forgot your job. Are you the student?
I am an opportunist hacker. I haven't really decided what he is. Student would fit just about anything else, so might as well make.
Well, you could also just be a programmer.
That's true.
Okay. So basically, those guys, say we're going to go take care of that, leaving Rahul 121. The question is does Rahul want to? If you don't have anything that needs to be recharged, do you want to do something or by yourself, or do you want to call Arkloyd up?
Nothing but of matter. So I suppose I will take rest as well.
Okay, so the night passes, during which nothing weird happens, and the next day dawns, and you guys go to your day jobs. There's no official announcement from from Zakura saying that they're Zakuro. There's no official announcement from Zakuro saying the game will be up, so naturally the social media is filled with a bunch of people saying, this is completely unreasonable. It's so unfair. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone anywhere. And all that kind of stuff. But you work your day jobs, I guess, without incident. I mean, Susano, I think Jakai, you're hanging drywall, and Haraku, you're
probably taking like all the dump logs that I got last night and just pouring over them, going, alright, so if I know this and this about the game, I could maybe recreate it on a mobile phone. Or at least...
yeah, it's exactly how that works, just on a mobile phone.
I know.
Mobile phones are just the same thing as PCs, really, just smaller.
Yup, this is why CEOs should decide everything about how things get produced. And this is why I occasionally go drinking.
So unless Kenshiro and Rahul have something weird they want to do during the day, we can advance to the evening. So I'll just ask before we move forward.
I would like to ask about the TML and my contacts, if I have any, and see if I can find any answers through my less official network.
Okay, well, the skill I can gathering information about people and stuff is the questioning skill. Okay, so that would be mine in questioning. And since you're talking to other criminals, the hashtag Streetwise would apply to this. Do you have anything else that applies to doing research, on a chip manufacturing company?
I have a die in academics.
Okay, well, you're not for this role, because we could do that for covering it with the public records, but you're actually inquiring other people doing social engineering. So for this, it would be questioning. Now, since since Kenichiro doesn't actually have a day job, you could conceivably ask him for help. Do you have anything that would help with this?
All I have is Streetwise.
Right. So you could also roll.
Yes.
Because you have you could be an assistant where you could roll mind and streetwise, and in fact it doesn't even matter, because since you have mind and streetwise, you automatically have one success, which is automatically enough to give anyone who's doing streetwise an extra D8. So in other words, just calling up Katsu and saying, hey, could you follow up these leads I'm not following up on, and both of you working together gives you a D8 assist bonus.
Excellent. And while he's doing this, he's going to be using clandestine so he can avoid being seen or detected.
Okay. Well, I assume you guys are criminals, so yeah. Clandestine, usually applies to. I should make a note that applies to like physical operations. It's like blending in with the crowd and that sort of thing. But yeah, you would also use that. Okay, so Avery, I think was D8 your mind die?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and you get a D8 assist bonus from Kenichiro because he's also a criminal because he's a hacker. So you can roll another D8.
That will
Okay.
be 3 successes.
That's 3 successes. That's anything a career. That's anything a small gang could figure out, because you're a small gang. There's 2 of you, so you're a gang, right?
No.
Okay.
Duo
Well,
gang.
sorry. There's 2 of you, so it's a criminal conspiracy because there's 2 of you. The minimum conspiracy.
But
Reduced
sir, I don't know this guy at all.
We're gonna call you the risk group, the reduced instruction set conspiracy.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so transverse micrologic. One thing that anyone can pretty much figure out is that transverse micrologic has a baby website that doesn't tell you anything. It still has like the clip art pictures of people pointing at computers going, ooh, and it says, we're here to synergize operations. Okay, that's not interesting. What is interesting is that transverse micrologic doesn't exist before the 21st century. In fact, like I said, they barely exist at all. But what's more important is a secondary news article that reports on something called tangle-threaded memory architecture. That I think I am not spelling correct. When they file a patent for it. At the time, it shows up in like a minor tech article that dismisses it as more technobabble, because obviously everybody wants more processes with more predictive computing at lower power consumption. I mean, that's obvious. But what is interesting about it is Transverse Micrologic does have an official address. It is listed actually in the Kansai Prefecture. So they actually have a physical address you could go to. Google Maps shows it as, remember I was talking about those large areas of factory places that are, the lost decade abandoned places?
Yep, definitely.
That's the address that's listed. If you try to use a street view, program. It just shows you it's an industrial area that doesn't look very active.
This might be just within the walking distance from me.
It's not that far. Okay, there's also only one name that any name that can ever comes up, which is unusual for like a company. Usually, Japanese companies will have some sort of phase person or some sort of salaryman, and the only name that ever shows up in any of the information from interviewers is Masuko Haruma, who is listed as chief engineer of the company. With you talk to some other people, and like even though you rolled 3 successes, a lot of these guys are just showing you like archived websites on that sort of thing, and helping you find a couple information. But whoever Masuko Haruma is, they're the patents for the TML designs are in his name. And some of with your high successes, some of the other criminals will tell you, yes, speaking of reverse engineering the chips, they must have unpatented designs, because the stuff that we find up that are listed as their registered patents isn't complete enough to build a chip. And also insert more annoyance here of, hey, shouldn't you have to prove something works before you can patent it?
Not in this day and age.
No. So, in fact, one issue with a lot of your bootleggers is that they're also like, some of them accuse these patents of just being like false information to throw us off the path, because these designs couldn't possibly work. This is like insane.
So all you have to do is find the real one and then patent the correct information, and now it's yours. That's exactly how it works.
The name that's a little more interesting is the exec that works for Zakuro, because a guy you can find pictures of and still exists is Hirakawa Shigeki, who is a guy who shows up in the early press releases for Vital Hearts, who is the one who's championing their NIE hardware, and how great it is that all this stuff works together. And so from what you can glean together from your research, even though Haruma never shows up in any of the publicity photos, Shigeki is all over the place.
Was Shigeki the one that almost got shot?
No.
Who was that?
Who owns the shop?
I said, was he the one who almost got shot? Trying to enunciate here.
In the other storyline?
Well, are we not in the same storyline? Because Nell's character is the same character?
I thought the American was the one who almost got shot.
Was the American here doing a thing?
Okay, once again, I apologize. I'm running the same adventure for multiple people. Shigeki was the big, he's the face of Vital Hearts. He is the guy who promotes it the most.
At the Science Expo, they had a conference, and the CEO of one of these 3 companies was up on stage and almost got shot. Okay.
I remember that as being that the American almost got shot, but I may be misremembering.
No, that's why I'm asking. I don't remember it being an American.
Oh, it definitely may have been the American, because I think it was portrayed as like international beef just coming to the stage.
Right. So, but Shigeki was definitely at the show. He's the guy. He's the champion of NIE. From what, this would be more interesting in the anime because you'd be comparing records and possibly have a flashback. But basically, Vital Hearts might as well be his baby. Now, of course, it's pretty weird because this is Japan and it's corporate video game manufacturing. So even though Shigeki is the face of it and the enthusiastic evangelist of Vital Hearts, whether he's the programmer is up. And also the companies, it's that weird thing in Japan where they love to put these people up as the faces of the game, but they also have they have a distancing effect in case they have to fire the guy because they want to make it clear that no, our faceless corporate entity owns the game. So what's also a little clear is that Shigeki was a nobody until this game launched. So the stories all but basically make the claim. Like Shigeki is trying to take all the credit and saying like, I built this and I invented this. But obviously, at some point, he must have hooked up with TML and put their design inside the system. How Shigeki and Haruma hooked up and how they did their business deal is not entirely clear from the public record. So I guess if you have a couple more probing questions, I can try to answer those.
Okay, I will dress appropriately in a hoodie and some worn jeans and go take a walk around the district and see what's going on at that address.
Oh, okay. Oh, and one other note as you're like dressing and like the texting is coming in, that like you get a note from I guess not a criminal 44, who says, "Hey, this might be of interest. Did you know that 2 years ago, as part of the records in the Kansai Prefecture, there's a mortuary report on somebody named Masuko Haruma. It might be your guy."
Fun.
So
Still worth checking out the actual place.
all right. So
Casing it out as it be.
right. The skills for casing it now. Streetwise is the ability to communicate with criminals. The skill for casing a place out and blending with a crowd, that's clandestine. So I don't know if you want to like call up Kinshiro and ask him to come with you, since he's good at this.
I am good at being clandestine.
Okay.
I have clandestine, sabotage, and streetwise.
It's almost like you're a career criminal.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're going to the shutdown Kansai Prefecture. Are you going by yourself, or are you bringing a wingman, or what?
I am going alone, and I am trying to be, let's say, inconspicuous in maybe looking like a drift.
Right. So you put on your low-profile outfit, and time to commit some crimes. Okay. So Kenshiro, what are you gonna do for the rest of the day? Just try to drum up money or something, or?
Yeah. Let's say he's looking for work at this point.
Okay. You'll find some minor. I put a note here that I want to do an overhaul of the influence system because I think it's important for a game like this. So I'll just assume that you I don't know, steal credit cards for money or something.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not that hard to get there. You probably just take, like I said, you take the train. It's more blocks than you would want to walk. But yeah, during the 1990s, there was an explosion of technological growth in Japan, and then it was all artificially inflated and blew up. Even now, in the year of 20XDX, 20 or more years later, there are still abandoned factories and that sort of thing. And all restaurants are Taco Bell. Thank you, practice. But yes, the address that it points to is, I want to say it looks like the set of a Godzilla movie monster type deal, where it's like you ride on a road past some terrible looking forests. Everything is terraced cliffs that slowly slopes down. And then it's a chain link fence with an electronic lock and a camera around a spooky abandoned factory. What is noticeable is you can see, what's the range on a voltmeter?
Literally contact, I think.
Yeah, that's what to say.
Oh, what's the stupid ones they use in the Ghost Chaser videos? Or are those just garbage?
Do you mean the devices that look for live cables?
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, okay, like this is my paranoia getting in here. How would you check to see if that, before you got in range of the camera, to see if that was a real camera or not?
I mean,
I do know that's a thing. That's come up before.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, well, it's come up before because I've, not to reveal too much about myself, I've worked in places where like 99% of the cameras were fake.
Well, no, I just know that we've talked about it before, too, because there was those
Yeah.
camera detector things.
Okay, but I mean, like before you get within like 30 meters of the place, you see a fence, you see it's got like an automatic, like, an automatic electronic fence, the kind that opens and closes from a motor, and a camera. So
Wireless RF signal detector?
Maybe, yes.
Um,
What I am more interested in is are there any signs of this place being used, like
well,
like tire tracks scraping on the pavement where the gate opens, things like that?
okay, go ahead and make a roll of mind and observation, and I believe you do have streetwise, so you can or streetwide as I misspelled it, so you can look for criminal activity.
I am obviously not very observant right now.
Yeah. One thing you can observe. I mean, there's no one around and there's no cars here. So you're sitting there thinking, well, either there's no one here or they're good criminals. Like one thing I like to inform people about is like, look, you rolled one success. So either whoever is doing this either have two successes or more, or nothing's going on. What you can discover pretty easily is there is wireless traffic in this area, which is a little weird considering there's nobody here.
Okay, so no obvious signs of people coming and going frequently from here, yes?
Yeah, you're in an abandoned industrial district. The fact that there's wireless packets, the fact that there's a wireless network is weird. But it could just be an Internet of Things. What is weird is that camera that's perched on top of the fence is wired, so it's not that.
Well, that's interesting. And is there just one camera or more?
With one success, that is the only camera you see.
Okay.
In theory, I think if you could roll two or more successes on an evasion with clandestine, with mind, evasion, and clandestine, if you can get two or more successes, you could get to the door. But in order to get past the fence, you either have to open it or climb over it, and climbing over it is going to be body and athletics.
I have all of these things, so
Wow,
I might actually try it.
go for it. The first thing you'd have to do is make mind, evasion, and clandestine and get at least two successes. The good news is you get one for free. So you move around to where the blind spot is. The camera looks like it's watching the gate and not, the fence.
That would be for me not being spotted.
Right. Yeah. So you move around a wide arc, like the boss criminal you are, and then you try to scale the fence. Now, scaling the fence is going to be a roll of body and athletics that requires two successes, but sabotage applies because when you get to the top, there's razor wire. I assume you either you brought a towel or something to throw over that, or have gloves, because you expected you were going to a place that would have razor wire.
Yes, I do have. I would be prepared, yes.
Okay. Well, you're wearing the low-profile outfit, so I assume you take off your jacket and throw that over it. You now have holes in your jacket.
Which probably already was full of
Right.
holes anyway.
Yeah, because we don't have it clarified in this game, but we would have the low-profile outfit and the crime outfit, and I'm assuming you brought the low-profile outfit.
Definitely.
It's easier to explain that to the police than the crime outfit. All right, so with in true anime fashion, you will leap at the fence, get over it, one motion, land on the inside. Once you're inside, there's definitely a wireless area network in here with some security. So I assume you're just packet sniffing and not trying to hack it. The place itself looks pretty abandoned. It's got those wide streets you can roll trucks over, and there is a large building that from the outside looks like it could be a plant. But there's no lights on inside. It's the day though, but there's no one around. And I guess there would be side buildings and that sort of thing.
Okay, I'm looking for literal trash.
Yeah, you're looking for literal trash. There is no literal trash. The even though there are trash cans here, they've been empty a while. But you did ask me about this before. There is a motor pool. There is the first thing you can smell the gasoline, which is weird 20xdx because there's not a lot of gas vehicles these days. And something that strikes you interesting with the motor pool is it has delivery trucks in it. 3 10-wheeler trucks. And they are not covered in dust.
No, that's interesting.
Also, now, because they're gasoline old school trucks that aren't self-driving, that probably means they're not on the grid, which means they can't be tracked by systems trying to track that sort of thing. That, once again, sets off your crime senses.
I am going to wander towards these tracks.
Okay. There's no one around. They still have the keys in them.
Okay. Maybe one of those keys will fit into the whatever locks they have on the back.
Yeah, they're I want to say that those 10-wheeler self-driving trucks, they would have physical locks on the back. So but since the keys are still here, you could remove the keys. These look like 20th century vehicles. On the one hand, they look old, but on the other hand, they look very well maintained. Like you can see, like they've sanded some of the rust patches off of them. They put Bondo on it and that sort of thing.
Okay, so let me try to check if I can get into whatever these trailers contain. If there is anything.
Right, and I want to I guess trailer is a technical word for it, but it's a cab body type truck. It's only a 10-wheeler, so it's like a big truck.
Okay.
But it's not that hard. You've got sabotage, and the keys are still here. Opening them up, you find that the interiors are clean. One of the trucks is just empty, but the second truck has a large coffin. I mean, basically, I want to say a coffin-shaped box in it because it's like 2 meters long and about 0.5 meter wide. So, and it's kind of like impact-resistant plastic, the kind you see in trailer carriers. And the first thing it makes you think of is a coffin because it's body-sized.
In for a penny, in for a pound. So let's see what this thing has in.
You've got sabotage and you've got craft. The lock isn't that complicated. Opening it up, you find that inside is a foam. It's got foam insert, but it's empty. And of course, in true creepy fashion, the foam insert is cut out in the shape of a human body. In fact, it's the shape of your body. This hole was made for you.
Okay.
No, actually, it's not. It's just but it is a human-shaped hole.
Interesting. I will take a few photos of it and then get out then.
Okay. Yeah.
I will look after myself.
Yeah. You clean up. You're still wearing your work gloves, so you're not leaving fingerprints. You scrub the place down real quick. I'd like you to go ahead and make a roll of mind and deceit. Your clandestine is 1 free success, and your streetwise is 1 free success. So that's 2 successes already. So only a criminal investigative team that rolled 3. Yeah. So you score 3 successes. You clean up really. You clean this place up, so only like the best CSI team could find out you were here. Okay, so you leave and go home.
Exactly.
Okay. And look over the photos. The rest of the day is pretty quiet. Kenshiro makes some money, and you guys, Hiraku and Susanoo work their day jobs. It's no one at your day job like talks about this Vital Hearts thing. It's like, guys, we got like families and real jobs. We're not nerds. What kind of nerd has to like do escapist fantasy in some
We work at a gaming company.
Yeah, but it's literally my character's job. Everyone's probably like, oh man, I wish I could go back home.
I mean, I'd expect that from the staff I work with, because we're the manual laborers at the company, the maintenance
Right.
staff.
Well, your manual laborers would talk about that at Raku's job, where he works at a game company. Like, it's like, guys, we're not here to compete, with the VR people. We're here to make cell phone games to sell stupid plastic toys to children. The code doesn't have to be good.
We could make them addictive gotcha box VR cell phone games. So saith the CEOs.
Say, if you wanted to sell plastic toys to children, you should make cartoons.
But we still have to skirt the laws. So we have to, just barely. But of course, did you guys see the picture that was going around of like Peggle Blast asking for permission to make phone calls? That's my favorite.
Yeah,
picture.
a lot of stuff does that.
What the hell? You can make phone calls now.